I'll sit behind you and tell you what to say. Big dog here. You're there. I'm sitting. Good. Actually, got you guys are late about last week.
Residents to.
Good. My nephew insurance killed me. My left leg's killed me.
Okay.
Well, when he's bad, my left leg, then also hurt back and fell. So he's right full time. But the next they said is sometimes the muscle, whatever, you kind of figure some stuff. You think that you hear that.
First Wednesday of the month, or
Our draft agenda, so just, for the
Just chalk it up to.
third Monday, so we're always the third Monday. So we start the draft agenda Wednesday, we finalize the actual agenda.
I took the bits.
The work. So
Are we okay?
it's all information.
What about that? I
Just to give you a
told him, I said, fine, begin
It's
to talk.
on the agenda
Okay.
for me.
I got the sense that he thought it was still way longer. I said, I don't think you're going to the hearing on the third.
But it's actually Wednesday.
Was it Wednesday? It's one of those.
And Matt,
I
he's hoping, but I mean, yeah, I still haven't seen it. You know, moving from the bench, you know, we should really, but the house is like, so.
Yeah.
Really?
Something friction.
Are we always welcome to sign up for public
And then the
comment?
30 days runs.
And we'll focus, but, you know,
I know
You're still working every day.
yes, they're almost all the offsite.
Figure things out.
We're doing everything
Thank
that we can, that doesn't touch that piece, like we don't disturb it at all.
But it's still, you're still on track for late June for the jail.
Absolutely.
No, this kind of stuff.
Just not bad. I have weight work involved in it, and
Might
that's,
just also-
it's 160 or whatever next week is getting. And you gave me the per diem, Kathy has that, so. So
Yeah, just clear out.
it's the first one, per diem, that's from the last that in eight. Right, we're not on that before we get to that part, yeah. Yeah. We did our, zoning application for, Southampton.
If you pay going I don't think I have checked.
Yeah, I don't think, I didn't see the email that said these checks.
Right. Well, check out what it will. Joe, or somebody.
Maybe he did, I just didn't see it, so.
I got a break. I thought it was.
Yeah, there were a couple of.
Yeah. Where did it?
Supposedly, three guys for abortion out there or something, so. Takes forever. House. Slot no close. Very much.
Good. Go back. Well, hello. How are you?
Yes. John, thank you.
Well, thank you.
So.
How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Right. Oh. I hope not.
Okay, that's it.
How are you?
I know you're around.
Almost spoke.
Yeah. Yeah, you're good, of course. Yeah, you're looking at, I didn't know, so. Yeah.
Yeah, here is one behind me.
Yeah.
Who has some years.
I got it. Yeah. I was got one. That's the trade off there. You're mistaken. Okay. Yeah.
So it's changed.
That's such an experience.
I tried the suit now. I think I'm better. I called her back.
Yeah. Good job. Better place right here. Still hanging around with work guys. I'm almost full though, so. I'm almost. It's a 0%.
I am.
77.
I won't be doing it when you're that age. I will not be doing it for
Is
that.
that right? I'm gonna make some.
Joke.
Take a look. Hey. I'll be right back today.
He was older than that.
Mark 8 years old. His hair's really dark for his year.
Steve Harris will be.
Harris.
March with J.D. Watery. You know about. Yeah, I talk to him every day. Fortunate. Yeah, he could go.
He's very
Good. 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 Yeah, that's just like, that's.
I love him.
I don't even know.
I told her, I said.
I talked to Michelle today, she said we should come and they want you to be.
Michelle was so cool.
I'm pretty sure my son moves this fall. And knucklehead that he is, he's in Fort Stewart in Georgia. He converted his driver's license to Georgia. He had words and everything.
No. Well, okay, that was a great spot. No, I said, oh, we registered down in Georgia. They did. Here, this guy was different. So, I'll see if we can find you over a site that. Oh, yeah.
I was gonna ask her, because there's things for the military, when they're away to take out, mail-in ballots. Or because I was gonna ask you which one I should put in. Because he gave up his privacy. Yeah, he won't be back. It's just early.
But it was incredible. So, yeah, it was probably a big call, it's probably. Well,
He gets like 2
did like that. So it was but it was pretty much sure. Yeah, so. I got high.
After it's there, it's just.
They're all good.
For Georgia,
Yeah.
I'll vote twice.
Nice faces.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's good. We have been it.
I just behind the clock on Saturday.
Or they should.
I mean. Yeah, correct.
Yeah, it's great. It's better than default. It's better than those three.
Yeah.
And then organize out the box.
Makes a far three today.
Yeah, I think close to home, it's kind of in the middle of it.
We don't want it up to the play day. Shooting guns with Max. Knock off.
Yeah.
Yeah, we play forever. Good.
Then, or they, you know.
Yeah. I'm supposed to be quiet. I know that. Okay. We're getting in person. Yeah. Outside. Yeah. All things, so I still came in tonight when I was in bed, it was good. So yeah, it was a big house.
So you should do a pitch. Not working.
No, for some time, they're going to the national. Last week, they they always tell us that also refined it in California. Like the tax goes by rail. So it's filling the tank goes with it. It's already cost. It's really good. Yeah, it's there. And so the last.
Got no place to crack into the line. Some.
He was selling. That's what it was. He was selling. They come to me and offer me $25 for a monster. One came out of it.
We put in.
Monsters. Part of cigarettes.
Right, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you can't. Yeah, today's rock.
I haven't changed that.
Yeah. Like this.
I mean, that's true, that's how it is.
But it's Steve.
It's again,
What it is, it's not that expensive. It's a problem. You know, so that's fine. I think I don't think we go. For that. It's long drinks. It's probably not that expensive.
so I
Chiefs, that's good, great. That's where I tickets later. To go down and see the conference, so I was playing because I spent $800. I had to.
Oh, Joe. Oh, I miss. One minute. No. Evening, let's call the Board of Supervisors, May 20th meeting to order. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Board met in executive session tonight to discuss matters of personnel. Can I have the approval of the minutes, please?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes from Monday, April 24th as written.
I have a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Announcements, Kyle.
Thank you. The summer movie in the park series will kick off with a movie at dusk on June 19th in the community park, which is behind this year. For additional information and more dates, please visit warwickrec.com.
That's it?
Yep.
Okay. Citizens comment? Mayor Cozen. Hello.
Get our open, Central for Johnson. I just come before you today, wanted to know why we have to wait 30 days to receive minutes. I get the approval process, but we could put pending approval on the minutes. I think it's unfair to residents that can't make it to meetings, whether for whatever reason, that they have to wait 30 days to see what was discussed at the meeting. Also, coming before you today about the York South intersection, about the old Luke-Oil building. We do have ordinances in place for overgrown brush. That intersection is an eyesore at the old Luke-Oil. I get that there's someone who owns it, but we really need to start holding them accountable. And I do know that we find them because I've talked to code enforcement. But at some point, fines aren't just enough, and they need to maintain the property. It makes our township look horrible. It makes it look like we don't care about our township, and it's in the dead center of our township. That's all I got.
Well, hold on.
Yeah.
Mary?
I have, my strong recommendation is not to release minutes until the board's had a chance to review and approve them at a public meeting. They're not minutes until that happens. They're just internal drafts.
Right. Well, I mean, I'm just saying, residents sometimes can't make it to meetings, and if that's the case, then I record the minutes, and it takes the meetings. I couldn't make it to the last one because you changed the meeting date. It's $25 for StreamYard.
It's what?
$25 for StreamYard per month. It'll stream to a YouTube channel, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, whatever you want to go on. Residents can watch it from home. That gimbal costs $9.98 on the TikTok shop.
Okay.
That is $40 with $30 for the first month, $35, and then $25 sustaining. I think that's well within our budget.
Take it under 2 months.
Thank you.
The intersection.
Yes, code enforcement, specifically the code enforcement officer, Mr. Prado, has been in contact with the property owner and has had them cut the grass a few times already this year. He continued to do so, but fines are the only option you have. So you issue a violation notice, if they don't comply, you can get fined. There's no
We have an
worse,
increased
there's no
process.
work process for somebody who just doesn't cut their grass.
We have an increased process for that, like increase of fines when it's a repetitive issue.
The fines are dictated by what the judge would assess.
Is the township asking the judge to increase the fine?
There's a limit under our second class township code, the law that the township operates. There's a limit on the maximum fines that can be imposed, and the judge can go much lower than that. It's completely her discretion.
Okay, are we seeking the maximum fine? This is an ongoing issue. where-
Always seeking the maximum.
Yeah, it's like, we go there, we find him, he doesn't cut it for 3 months, or she, I don't know if the owner's male or female, and then we find him again, and then they don't cut it for 6 months. I mean, Pico cuts underneath my power lines more often than they cut their grass. That's kind of bad, that Pico is beating me on grass trimming.
Got it. Thank you. All right, manager report, Kyle.
Thank you. First up is zoning hearing board 24-06, Deluca construction at 1520 Meetinghouse Road. We received this application on April 16th of this year. The applicant is requesting relief from the zoning ordinance to allow a 50-foot setback for a proposed on-lot sewage treatment system, where a 300-foot setback from a body of water is required. This application is scheduled for the June 4th zoning hearing board meeting, and they're before you seeking a review of their zoning hearing board application. Mr. Murphy?
Good evening. Hi,
Kyle.
Kyle's right. I was here 4 months ago when we first presented the sketch to the board to inquire whether or not the board wanted to adopt the staff recommendation that each of the proposed lots be served by on-lot septic and on-lot well. The answer was yes. No public sewer or public water extension. So we've designed the plan to do that. And your ordinance says you have to have a 300-foot setback from any body of water. To apply that here would sterilize the property. There would be no opportunity. So what we've done is identify a 50-foot setback, which is what the minimum DEP requirement is. So we show a riparian corridor or riparian zone 1 and riparian zone 2, total of 50 feet from the edge of the old pond / body of water. So that's the nature of the application. Otherwise, application fully complies, all your other ordinance.
Okay, John, you have any questions?
So you're saying then, without this variance, you couldn't build a single house?
That's correct.
Okay.
Michael, any questions?
Michelle, can you fill me in a little bit about that? On how 50-foot versus 300 and any of the details?
Sure,
So I can
I can
understand.
try. Is the on-lot septic system supposed to be is it going to be a sand mound or any other alternative or a spray field?
No, it's going to be a single house.
Okay, so I believe that the minimum isolation distance for DEP is 50 feet. So you don't want a on-lot septic system, a system that's going to treat your sewage, to be close to a waterway or riparian buffer because it won't treat the sewage that it's supposed to be. DEP has regulations, it's in chapter 73 of their regulations that state what the minimum horizontal distances have to be between the body of water and a on-lot septic system, the sand mound part of it. I thought that the distance was even smaller,
50.
but if it is 50, it's 50 feet is the minimum distance. Our ordinance does state that it has to be 300 feet away.
Michelle, if you had a different type of a septic system, would a larger than 50-foot setback generally be required?
If it's something similar to like a spray field, then your distance would be larger, but I don't believe in any instance does it go up to 300 feet.
You just indicated that you wouldn't be able to build any houses, but yet that would only be for lot number 2, is that correct?
Now, the whole 300 feet would apply to the whole site, so there would be no opportunity to build any house. Measured from the edge of the body of water, 300 feet would consume the whole site.
Okay. What do you trust?
So if you wish to stay neutral in this application, you just say so, do so. If you wish to oppose it, oppose it.
John?
I think we don't have much choice but to remain neutral, sterilize the whole block.
Michael?
Same.
Neutral it is?
Good,
Thank you.
thanks.
Good night. Good night, then.
Next item is zoning hearing board 27-07, excuse me, 24-07, WarwickCom 1 at 1770 Kendarbren Drive. We received this application on April 25th. The applicant seeks to appeal the determination of the zoning officer, stating that the zoning officer erred as a matter of law in denying the zoning permit applications. But as an alternative, they're requesting a variance. And what they're requesting a variance is to allow the deferred confirmation of compliance with the Department of Public Welfare conditioned on no use and occupancy, decreased non-impervious play area conditioned on a limitation of users, a daycare center that does not meet the area and dimensional requirements of a daycare center within the Warwick Office Park, to permit a daycare center that will utilize shared parking rather than established separate parking facilities, and non-compliance with the buffer requirements. They're scheduled again for the June 4th zoning hearing board meeting, and again, they're here seeking your review of their application.
John Van Lucan, representing the applicant. This application is the second application in 4 years relating to the 700 building in Warwick Office Park. Last tenant, operation got approvals from the zoning hearing board, took off occupancy, but then lost the leases that she needed, the contracts that she needed, they went out of business. And that's the young lady sitting behind me there, Ani, I hope I pronounce her last name, has signed a lease, and she wants to operate a daycare center. She has experience there. And as you probably know, among the uses that are listed as permitted uses in a office park, use F4, is a daycare center, use G2. Problem, of course, is when you design the office park, you meet all the area dimensional criteria. But unless you knew you were going to put a daycare center in there, you would not meet the area dimensional criteria for a daycare center, which requires a 60,000 square foot lot. So obviously, most ordinances are written in such a way that they say that the requirements for the business park will trump the other requirements for an individual use. The ordinance does not say that the uses that are in the ordinance in the business park must meet all the area dimensional requirements for the use separately. It doesn't say that. So the last time we took this to the zoning hearing board in 2020, we requested the variances that Kyle reiterated from the, what I'll call the area dimensional criteria for the G2 use in favor of the F4 use. And they were all granted by the zoning hearing board at that point in time. The reason I appealed the zoning officer's determination was essentially so that we could make a point that when I first applied for a zoning permit on East Navy, that permit was denied by the zoning officer on the basis that she did not already have a use and occupancy permit, which makes no sense at all because you can't start the process of complying with the Department of Public Welfare criteria unless you have your zoning permit in hand. I was also told by a member of the staff that Ani should never have signed that lease. That she had to go through the whole process of getting a use and occupancy permit before she could sign the lease. Now, that made no sense to me, so I filed the appeal partially so I would have a chance to tell you that I think something's wrong there. That makes no sense. We specifically had the lease provided that she can make permit applications in her name, and that was one of the reasons it was turned down, that she can have a use and occupancy. Yeah. I don't know how you get that. I've been doing this more than 50 years, and I've never had a use and occupancy permit before I had a zoning.
Kyle, can you attend to that?
Hey, I'm aware of what John is talking about. I mean, our process is when you're changing occupancy, you apply for a use and occupancy permit. This is a case where they did not apply for this use and occupancy permit. The form is designed to pull out certain information from an applicant to understand what was there currently and what used to be there, and then what are they proposing to take place there. They did not fill out their application, and they were told that.
You can't fill out the application because it's going to take different fit out. You have to meet the requirements of the Department of Public Welfare. The other reason it was turned down is we didn't have all those approvals from the Department of Public Welfare in hand before the zoning permit application was filed. That makes no sense to me. Those outside agency permits and approvals are never issued without local approvals first. And that was the other reason I then applied in the name of WarwickCom 1 for the zoning permit, and that's the one that was denied and appealed. But that same condition is there, that it was denied because we didn't have all the approvals in place from the Department of Public Welfare for the use. They won't even review this until we have those. Can't meet that requirement. It makes sense.
That seems an issue that's easy enough to resolve. I think we're just talking which comes first, the chicken or the egg, and I think that we can work through those issues with the applicant. The other questions are probably we're better off for those with your example.
As I said, that's not, I wanted to bring the matter to your attention because I've never run into that in all the years of the process. It makes no sense. Just backwards. As far as the application is concerned, it's fairly simple. We have the same variances primarily we had in GAP's autism application 4 years ago. We still have the issue, and I think you've probably come across this one before, with respect to the play area. Your ordinance requires 100 square feet per child. My opinion, the reasonable interpretation of that is the number of children that are going to be in the play area at any one time. this case, Bonnie proposes a maximum capacity at different times of the day. She will ever have more than 60 students total. Some come in the morning, some come in the afternoon, some come after school. The interpretation, we're appealing is the interpretation that we need 6,000 square feet of outdoor play area, when there will never be more than 15 people outside at any one time. WarwickCom 1 has already obtained approvals from the township for 3,000 square foot play area, which will meet Department of Public Welfare criteria. It's more than we need enough for 30 students who are half this total population using it at any one time. That's not going to happen. I mean, I went to elementary school. I remember the first grade went out one time, second grade went out another time. There were never, the whole school population has never been playing at one time. That's the way all of these daycare centers operate. They don't send everybody outside at the same time.
And I went to Catholic grade school and did that. Everyone had one.
We do. All right, but the point is that the operators will accept conditions that says no more than X number of students at any one time. It seems to me that's reasonable. And where in an office park are you going to find 90,000 square feet of fenced in outdoor play area? In this case, 3,000 is a lot. We were able to work it out and get the zoning permits. So that's the main variance, plus the area dimensional variances, which I said, I repeat, and I people are just kind of a technicality. They should be. If you're going to allow this use within the office park, and the office park meets the area dimension criteria, the zoning ordinance, then the use that's permitted should be permitted without having to comply separately.
So essentially, John, you're asking us whether we'll object to this.
I'm asking you to stay neutral like you did with the GATS application. Issues are pretty much the same. With the exception of the 100 square foot, because that.
Michael, any questions?
No.
Neutral? Neutral? We're neutral.
Thank you very much.
All right.
And if you do something about that other issue, I'm really glad it's very complicated. Thank you.
Next is zoning hearing board 24-08. The applicant is 2583 State Road Realty Associates. Tenant is Elliott-Lewis. On April 29th, they submitted their zoning hearing board application. Their application is for 1707 Stout Drive. They requested relief from the zoning ordinance to allow less than required number of parking spaces for H3 use on the property. 55 spaces would be required. The site currently has 30 spaces. This application is also scheduled for June 4th.
Anybody here?
The applicant here?
No applicant here. Okay, John, any questions?
What's the use of the H3 use?
It is warehousing. I mean,
It's a, air conditioning station.
I don't know what the-
H3 is wholesale business, wholesale storage, warehousing, wholesale business, or warehousing with no storage, no sales to the.
What is this occupant of it?
unfortunately, they're not here.
Okay.
If you want to put in space variance.
I understand that, but I wondered what the use of the building is going to be. Because that I'm fairly intimately involved that building, or I'm very familiar with it, and that was part of our problem in Stout Drive when we had horrible parking problems when PDC owned that building. They would line both sides of the street all the way around the circle. And you couldn't get trucks in, you couldn't, it was a bad thing. I guess,
Yeah, I'm looking through their application. I don't see any narrative.
I didn't notice that, I got, I read it before I didn't notice if it was just a parking variance. Well, you could always take the position that you, like, write to the zoning hearing board and tell them they will close the application unless the applicant comes back and gives them a continuance. He comes back and provides, yeah.
Either that or give the condition that they can't have any more than 30 employees.
30 employees?
That would be fine. Or they have, yeah, they need 50.
They have 30 spaces.
Okay,
So 30 employees for the
so
first.
15 employees. Yeah, mistake.
30 employees. Strike off.
No, I'm saying 15 employees for 30 spaces.
And then
I think I'd rather have this, I think that's what we
Okay.
If you make a motion, you're proposing that we less,
Okay. We're posting this application until the applicant comes back and at our June meeting and explains to us exactly what they're gonna be doing in this site and how many employees they expect to have.
second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Great, thank you.
Next item is resolution 2024-25. This is our annual record of construction resolution, financial records 2016 and older, employment applications older than 2 years, financial statements of interest older than 5 years, administrative email correspondence from 2019 and older, proposed for construction. This request follows the adopted municipal records and
I have a motion,
Make a motion to approve resolution 2024-25.
I have a second,
second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Next is the duty tow appointment for Elsner Towing. We currently only have one duty tow. Recently, earlier this year, we adopted a new duty tow ordinance. That ordinance allowed us to select a duty tow that does not have a business within the township borders, but is still within an acceptable response time. We felt over the years, unfortunately, we didn't have enough towing businesses within the Warwick border to provide the service. Police Department reviewed the application by Elsner's Towing of Warrington and recommends appointment as our second duty tow for the remainder of 2024.
May I have a motion, please?
Motion to approve Elsner Towing as due.
A second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Next is the treasury report for April. Expenditures, house-based revenues by $2,184,399. Real estate transfers posted $25,947. Building permits posted $19,120. Earned income tax posted $335,078. Local service tax posted $3,792. Fund balances for April are as follows, subject to audit. General fund $15,240,315. Firehouse and equipment $816,399. Road machinery $264,260. Capital projects fund $519,742. Highway aid fund $475,500. Parks and recreation $907,225. Parks and Recreation Capital Fund, $345,754. Capital Reserve, $299,679, for a total of $18,871,904.
John, any questions on the treasurer's report?
No.
Michael, any questions? May I have a motion?
Motion to approve the treasurer's report for April 2024, subject to audit.
I have a second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Next item is bill payments. I request approval of the bill payments for May 6th in the amount of $284,271.58, and for May 20th in the amount of $174,209.38, subject to audit.
John, any questions on the bills?
Yeah.
Michael, any questions? No. May I have a motion?
Motion to approve the bill payments for May 6th and May 20th, subject to audit.
May I have a second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
That's all I have.
Thank you, Todd. Mary?
Thank you very much, Ms. Algio. The only item under my report this evening is the manager ordinance that you reviewed at the last meeting has been advertised for a public hearing and consideration for adoption this evening. In short, it is an ordinance which takes your existing manager's ordinance and it adds to it some duties and responsibilities that Kyle has been doing for the past how many years in Yale before him, and making it modernizing, changing the pronoun so that it's he and she instead of just he, I believe, and just generally modernizing it. So if you wish to proceed, you could call the hearing to order. Take
All the hearing to order.
Here you go.
Go ahead, Mayor.
And take, if there's anybody here that would like to make public comment.
Anybody wish to comment on it?
It's just modernizing language, correct?
That, yeah, well, that's some duties. But if there are duties that the manager's already doing and then you're
Right.
used to seeing the manager already.
Right. So hearing no further questions, we can close the meeting.
Yes.
Thank you. May I have a motion?
Motion to approve the manager's ordinance amendment.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That is all I have for the solicitor's report this evening.
Thank you. Engineers report, Michelle.
I have no one this week tonight.
And thank you. Old business, John.
No.
Michael.
No.
Kyle.
I do have one item, an update on the York and Meyer Way intersection. This is the project that we have slated for 2024, was a budgeted capital improvement project. We studied the intersection. Michelle has put together plans to PennDOT. It was resubmitted last week with the revisions that they requested. And once we receive it, we can get on the schedule for the contract improvements. Can't get on the schedule until we have the permit in hand. But we're in the last leg of being able to essentially make it a safer intersection than adding the restricted left turn.
And then I noticed that Old York Road is closed next week.
That's a separate project that is sorry about that. That is the replacement of the culvert
Oh, right.
down by Edis Road.
Okay, got it. Thank you. Okay, new business, old business, that was old business, new business. John.
No.
Michael.
No.
Kyle.
None.
Public comment.
Just since we brought up York and Meyer Way, what is gonna entail with the restricted left turn?
So northbound and southbound, if you're on York Road trying to turn on the Meyer Way, either way, you'll have a green arrow. So you know when you can turn, and then you'll have a red arrow, you know when you can't turn.
So no yielding.
But it'll go green, yellow, red. You cannot make a left turn on a red arrow.
So similar to Alms House and.
So just like, pretty much just like York and also.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. That's kind of what I want.
Sure.
All right, any other public comment? None, that motion is carried.
So moved.
See you next month.
Next month.
Move